Okay. Okay, so the topic is intention. And just to refresh or get the topic going, the definition of intention, what one intends to do or bring about. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and so some of my questions, and this can be either work related or conversations with acquaintances, family, friends, all that stuff. It really can apply to any type of conversation that you have with people or interactions. So let me find my question. Okay, so in our textbook that we have, a point that the book makes, it says the if we reveal our intentions, we can get to where we want to go with fewer bumps. Do you think that is that statement is true, or just kind of do you think that is can be accurate?
Yeah, I think it can be accurate, but I think it's also situational.
Okay.
So yes, there are times when my intentions need to be revealed because people enjoy being a part of the process of moving from one place to another. It's called progression. But sometimes you have to keep your cards close, and not maybe reveal everything until it's time. So it's definitely situational, okay? And timing is really important in that. So yeah, I do agree with that statement, but I think it's also situational. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so kind of piggybacking off of that one. So before meeting with someone, let's say meeting with a employee of yours to talk about I don't know, give a situation, performance review. So would you reveal your intentions with them before meeting with them? Or would you
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just basically grenade launch and just say, hey, show up in my office and then drop the bomb on them. What's going on? I do like to preface a little bit the situation by asking, hey, how'd this go? Or hey, did this go on? How did it turn out? Or are you aware of this? And then I usually like to follow up with a close quarters meeting with that person to kind of delve into the nuts and bolts, and maybe if there's anything wrong, we can fix, or if there's nothing wrong, and it's just the situation that we need to both be aware of and both know about it, then that's how I present it. But yeah, I like to give a little bit of heads up. Maybe not everything, because some things like with in my job, there's confidentiality on both sides. There's parental confidentiality, student confidentiality, and there's teacher confidentiality. So I have to kind of be careful about sharing everything to either side. I just to share the things that need to be fixed, or the things that are really good and don't need to be fixed and they're really good, and give praise where it's needed.
Okay. You feel like it kind of just helps them if you tell them beforehand, that helps them kind of prepare for it.
Yeah. I think I always say, hey, this was brought to my attention. At some point, let's talk about it. I'll say, hey, at some point, let's meet about this. Let's meet, tomorrow during your planning period or after school or whatever.
Okay.
And give them an opportunity to think about, a lot of times situations that go on in the classroom are not viewed in the same light by the teacher and the student. The student seems, may take it extremely serious, and the teacher just sees it run of the mill everyday type stuff. So, obviously, you have to figure out, somewhere in the middle. I've got to be somewhere in the middle to try to figure out where to best solve the problem.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm writing down some notes. Hang on. Okay. So next question. Okay, so kind of with yourself, like in situations with yourself, not necessarily with other people. Do you find it helpful to restate your intentions when things either get confusing or um, tough, hard, mentally tough, or physically tough, or emotionally tough? Do you
Yeah.
find it helpful?
Yeah, I like to stay on the point. I like to stay in the area that we're trying to work through, the problem we're trying to solve. Yes, many times people want to get outside that and bring in other things. And honestly, I really, I really like to stay on topic. I really do. It's hard sometimes, but I like to stay on topic.
So you think you gravitate more towards staying on that path rather than letting it flow and go where it wants to go.
I bring it back. I will let a person vent and I say spill their guts or vomit on my desk. I'll let them do that. Proverbial vomit on my desk. Well, I'll let them do that because sometimes that's part of the problem. But I want to come back to the solution and how to fix what's wrong if there is something wrong. And so I usually don't chase those rabbits with them, but I do bring them back to the point that we're trying to get figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so how often do you analyze your intentions? Do you ever do something and think about it and you're like, what was my true intention behind it? How often do you kind of analyze those?
All the time, Arizona. I'm a big time thinker.
Yeah.
I overthink a lot, and when I make a decision, I always usually wonder if I should have gone the other way, or I replay it in my mind, and I poke holes in my own decision that I've made. I usually take counsel before I make a decision, and I let those folks poke holes in it, and then sometimes I go ahead and stay on the course I was on, but sometimes I change slightly depending on what other people's point of views are.
Okay. Okay. Do you ever try to guess or I guess assume people's intentions, and how does that play out?
Yeah, I probably do that too much, based upon several things. But I know this the way I feel about in my job. Most people want to make their little area of their job very comfortable. And so any decision they make, anything they ask for, any problem that they want to have solved is about their comfort. I know that sounds kind of negative, but it just in my experience, that's how it's been. And most people don't think about others' needs. They think about their own comfort. So their intentions usually are pointing towards their own comfort in their job.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I hate to sound negative, but that's kind of my experience. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it can be.
That's human nature, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just part of us.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely human nature.
Okay. Let's see. So in my book, it talks about 3 aspects of intention, and it's whenever you're gathering your intentions of something. So before you're going to go do something, you're thinking, all right, what are my intentions? And so there's 3 aspects: future focused, outcome focused, and commitment focused. Do you think that there are any other types of focus?
Ooh, those are pretty good. I mean, I probably work in more than 2. I probably work in 2 of them. Outcome and what was the other one? Outcome and
commitment.
What was the last? What?
There's future, outcome, and commitment.
Yeah, I probably work in outcome and commitment more often than I do future. I mean, I do think in the future, but there's just so many variables sometimes that it's almost like you got to wait till you get closer to something, to the time something's going to happen before you can, really pour into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there. It's coming. It's not like you're taken by surprise and you're planning for it, but maybe you're not totally focused, and your intentions might be more on planning for an outcome and then committing to your plan.
Okay. Whenever I was reading the book, the author said that there's probably more focuses, but that's just the top 3 that he could think of. And I thought of another one, relationship focused.
Yeah.
And I just thought about like your intentions with the person, whether it be to undermine them or you like them, like want to go on a deeper level with them, stuff like that. And I just thought about that as in roles in a workplace and stuff like that. But I just want to see your view on it. Okay. I think that's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have like an hour-long interview.
Oh my Dad, no. I don't have enough questions. We had to come up with our own stuff. So
yeah.
stop it.
I interview